Welcome to Beyond the Text, the podcast dedicated to exploring intellectual history with depth and context. In a world filled with quick takes, we're here to dive deeper. I'm your host, Samuel Woodall, and in each episode, we'll uncover overlooked aspects of historical and intellectual narratives. Join us as we voyage into the evolution of ideas, tracing the influences that shape them and uncovering their profound impact on the world. So let's embark on this journey together, transcending the confines of words and delving into the essence of thought. Join me as we venture beyond the text to discover the hidden stories that shape our understanding. Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Beyond the Text in a new year, where we explore the depths of intellectual history and dive into the intricacies of human thought. I'm your host, Samuel Woodall, and today we embark on a fascinating journey into the Enlightenment, examining its complexity and construction. First and foremost, a big shout out to Professor John Robertson for guiding us through this exploration. Today's episode is all about deconstructing the Enlightenment, breaking away from traditional authorities, and highlighting the inaccuracies that may have clouded our understanding of this pivotal period. So, let's kick things off with the methods of interpretation. Across various departments of history, the approach to understanding the Enlightenment varies. Social historians, for instance, delve into networks, exploring connections between writers and different theorists in different cities. Think Republic of Letters, the vibrant discussions in salons, and the birth of a public sphere for intellectual discourse. On the flip side, the intellectual historians bring a holistic perspective, incorporating elements from culture, art, sciences, and even musicology. It's a synthesis of different backgrounds that contextualizes the era's thought. But we venture into these realms, we must be cautious not to overshadow the primary texts, writings and manuscripts, with other forms of expression, fostering interdisciplinary cooperation for a comprehensive understanding. Now, let's turn our attention to the Enlightenment Bible, the Encyclopédie. Completed between 1751 and 1765, it stands as the Bible of the Age of Reason. This intellectual venture aimed to create a modern tree of knowledge, breaking free from traditional scholastic methods. The Encyclopédie defined three types of men of letters: writers, scholars, and critics, each contributing to the rich tapestry of Enlightenment thought. The spotlight then shifts to a pivotal figure, René Descartes. The Encyclopédie paints a dual portrait, a mathematician and philosopher. As a mathematician, Descartes pioneered analytical geometry, using algebraic equations to represent complex shapes. His contributions to the Cartesian coordinate system endure in today's mathematics and science. As a philosopher, Descartes championed human reason, rejecting traditional authority in favor of individual thought, an ethos encapsulated in his famous Cogito ergo sum. But the Encyclopédie not only chronicles the past, it reflects the times of its creation. Enter Jean-Jacques Rousseau, an awkward customer in the eyes of some contributors. Rousseau's controversial contributions challenge traditional authority, advocating egalitarian and democratic governance. His unorthodox views within the collaborative project sparked debates and criticism, leading Rousseau to respond with the first discourse, a critical examination of the expanding human knowledge, questioning if we risk losing sight of the essence of man the more we study him. Join me in part 2, where we'll explore the historiography of Enlightenment. In part 2, we delve into the perspectives of notable scholars who unpack the Enlightenment's essence and its impact on history and society. First up, Ernst Cassirer, a German philosopher, takes centre stage with his insights from the philosophy of the Enlightenment. According to Cassirer, the Enlightenment was an era that celebrated the prowess of reason in human affairs. Thinkers of the time, inspired by the philosophy of Gottfried Leibniz, sought to unveil the laws of nature, the principles of society, and the foundations of morality through reason. Leibniz, a 17th and 18th century German philosopher, believed in the ordered rationality of the universe and the capacity of human reason to comprehend it. This laid the groundwork for the Enlightenment's emphasis on the power of reason. Cassirer argues that Enlightenment thinkers aim to apply reason not only to philosophical and scientific matters, but also to social, political, and economic challenges. However, the unitary notion of Enlightenment faced its own challenges. Figures like Jean-Jacques Rousseau question the emphasis on reason, advocating the importance of emotion and intuition. Immanuel Kant sought a middle ground, acknowledging the limits of reason and recognizing the role of intuition. Now let's shift our focus to Franco Venturi, an Italian Marxist historian and anti-fascist activist. Venturi's lens on the Enlightenment sees it as a multifaceted movement, embracing liberalism, individualism, socialism, and utopianism. He challenges the fundamental notion that the French Revolution was an inevitable outcome, seeing it as a product of specific historical circumstances and political factors. Venturi's book, Utopia and Reform in the Enlightenment, highlights a tension between two visions of social and political change during this period. On one hand, there's the utopian vision associated with radical elements, and on the other, the reformist vision linked to moderate and conservative elements. Venturi views the French Revolution as a complex phenomenon, embodying both the radical potential and violent excesses of the Enlightenment. Now, let's tackle the association between the Enlightenment and modernity. The historical shift during the Age of Reason marked an epistemological divide, challenging the pedestal on which the knowledge of the ancients stood. New fields emerged, discussing economics and other contemporary topics. Innovations like the compass, gunpowder, and printing reshaped the material world, setting the stage for what we now call modernity. A unique literary movement during the Enlightenment in France contributed to a philosophical reading of the era. However, this gave rise to the philosophe conspiracy, a narrative suggesting that Enlightenment scholars plotted to overthrow the Ancien Regime, a narrative contested by many. Intellectual history grapples with the challenge of tracing ideas back to their origin. The Cambridge School, influenced by Wittgenstein, sought to distance itself from the narrativizing tendencies of prior historians. The responsibility of the intellectual historian, as we navigate through these perspectives, is to break free from tunnel visions and embrace the complexities of our intellectual heritage. In this exploration, we've traversed the Enlightenment, dissecting its construction, its key figures like Descartes and Rousseau, and the multifaceted perspectives of scholars like Ernst Cassirer and Franco Venturi. The Enlightenment, with its emphasis on reason, rationality, and the pursuit of knowledge, has left an indelible mark on history. But as we ponder the past, it's crucial to pose questions that invite further research, sparking curiosity and a deeper understanding. Firstly, how did the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason impact the broader social, political, and economic landscape of the time? And from this, can we draw a clear line between the intellectual pursuits of this era and the tangible changes in society? Ernst Cassirer's discussion on the unitary notion of enlightenment leads us to a critical question. How did the thinkers of this period navigate the tensions between reason, emotion, and intuition? Can we trace these philosophical debates to the broader societal shifts and conflicts of the time? Franco Venturi's perspective on the French Revolution as a complex outcome of historical circumstances raises intriguing inquiries. What were the specific events and political factors that shaped the course of the French Revolution? How did the Enlightenment's diverse ideas contribute to both its radical potential and violent excesses? The association between the Enlightenment and modernity prompts us to ponder in what ways did the intellectual and philosophical currents of this period contribute to the conceptualization and shaping of modernity? How did innovations in science, technology, and literature intertwine with the intellectual zeitgeist? Lastly, as we grapple with the challenges of intellectual history, how can we navigate the complexities without falling into the trap of homogenizing diverse thoughts? How do we appreciate the nuances of individual thinkers and movements while constructing a narrative that captures the essence of the Enlightenment? I hope these questions serve as a gateway to deeper exploration and understanding. We hope this journey through the Enlightenment sparks your curiosity and encourages you to embark on your intellectual adventures. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Beyond the Text. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep discovering the intricate intellectual threads that lie beyond the text.